Welcome everyone to Overcome Podcast episode 42. Today we have a very special guest here, my friend Clare Morrow.
Hi.
Hey Claire, how's it going?
Good, man. Any better at between.
Great to have you here. And the main theme of this podcast is overcome. And we met some years ago. We used to have the same coach, Jeff Dwell.
I
And yeah,
remember.
and I've been watching how extremely great progress you made over your fitness journey, but a lot of people don't know, your roots, where you came from, and when you post sometimes some of your before pictures, people really don't believe that's you, right? Because you look way younger now than you were on the picture from years ago. So I would like to start going back and talking about what really triggered you to change.
Oh, that's an easy one. So, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and my husband's brother died of a heart attack within a month of each other. And I turned to him and I said, we need to get healthy. I am not going to sit around and wait for my genetics to come for me. I don't want cancer. I don't want you to have a heart attack, even though he's very healthy anyway. So, even though I'm genetically predisposed to getting cancer, I wanted to give my body the healthiest fighting chance I could possibly give it to by eating clean and
Mm-hmm.
learning, how to eat the right foods and do the best I can. And that's what got me on the path. And then after that, I started seeing all these girls in the gym, some of them older than me, and I was inspired. Randy and Drawer,
Mm-hmm.
for one. I can remember watching her doing lat pull downs and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I want to look like that. How does that happen?" Uh, so that got me on that path, and then met Jeff shortly after.
But when you started, you had no idea about fitness, gym. You never worked out before, or did some sports before?
Not really. I mean, I was kind of a cardio bunny.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have an idea of, okay, you got to be in a calorie deficit. Okay, you got to eat this or eat that. But I didn't really know how simple it actually was. Just eat natural foods. People overcomplicate, losing fat and getting fit. And it's just, you just got to get enough protein. You got to make sure that you're, lifting in the right format and learning how to lift correctly. There was so much that I didn't know that, I wish I could tell myself now, you know, to not make mistakes, make sure you eat enough. A lot of women I work with now don't eat enough. I think that's a common thing
Yeah.
among women is they don't eat enough and they don't know. They think protein shakes are better when actually 4 ounces of chicken is the same amount of calories as a protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really put two and two together until you tell them that, and then they're like, oh.
But how long it took you to really get into this mindset of following through the plan? Did you suffer a little bit in the beginning, or was really a smooth transition?
No, it was smooth for me because I'm very all in. If I'm gonna do something, I freaking do it, and I'm all in. So it really wasn't. I know some people do have a hard time with that, but I didn't. I was all in and went for it. Too much so. I overtrained. I didn't eat enough. There was so many things I didn't do right, that I would love to do over. That's why it took me so long to transform, because I didn't realize I was overtraining so much. So no, it really wasn't too much of a struggle. I mean, of course, when you're on prep, you're craving sugar sometimes, and you want this or you want that. But I'm all about discipline. I trained horses for years, and that was a very tough discipline also.
Mm.
So I was professional horse trainer in the dressage, which is, as you know, is an Olympic event at its highest level. And I learned a lot about being disciplined from being in that sport. So maybe that's why my mom instilled into me, you know, how to how to be the best you can be.
You started together with your husband, or you started this on your own, and then your husband joined?
No, we did this together. We started getting fit together. Neither one of us had lifted weights before. I'd done cardio, but I'd really never picked up maybe a pink weight every now and again, but not a real weight. Before the age of 42, that was when I started. And Randy, I think he was 60 when he really started. And he's 68 now and looks incredible. So anybody can do this. And I tell women all the time, I don't care how old you are, anybody can do this. It doesn't matter your age. So we started on this path together, and it's been a godsend because we would meal prep together. We go to the, we still do. We still go to the gym together, and I do think it helps when a couple is on the same path. I think it helps tremendously. We can always bring him in here if you want to, but
No,
he,
that's a
he
great story. I really admire your perseverance throughout this, and do, as you said, doing together is much better. And how do you deal with? Because I'm pretty sure that although you are together on this, he and you sometimes has you want different things, right? For example, cheating meal. You guys align those cheating meals, or you don't do that very much?
We really don't. I mean, I would say once every couple of weeks we'll go out and have a cheat meal, but I still don't eat like a jerk, I guess you could say. Can I say it?
Sure, of
Eat like
course,
an
yeah, of course,
asshole.
yeah.
I don't, I try not to eat like an asshole too
Uh
much
huh.
because you're just going to end up feeling like recycled monkey crap the next day, and all bloated and disgusting. So, but we do go out, we go out, we have dates, a lot. But 99.9% of the time, my diet is I eat 6 times a day, just like most bodybuilders. Clean foods: chicken, fish, bison, white fish. I don't eat a lot of salmon. I eat a lot of bison, so I get my fats from that, and whole eggs, and things like that.
So you don't really have like off season per se, right? Or do you?
Oh, I do, but I don't let myself get. I eat enough food to gain muscle, but I don't let myself get too fluffy because I just don't like the way it feels.
No, makes
And
sense.
that's just a personal choice. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to compete again, and it's hard to lean down, especially at my age, because yeah, menopause. I'm going to be 50 this year, so I don't want to put more fat on me than I absolutely need to put on. So
Now
yeah,
you brought a
I'm a
good point about age. What do you think is the most difficult part about age? Is the recovery? Is the metabolism that is not accelerate as used to be? What is the most challenging thing?
It's funny you mentioned the recovery because in the last 6 months, I've noticed it's harder for me to recover than it ever used to be. So, yeah, overtraining would be out of the question at this point. I mean, I've definitely fought through arthritis. I've got arthritis in both my knees. So I literally have to get them injected every 6 months with Monovis.
Mm-hmm.
And then in between that, I have actually Randy's workout partner is amazing. He does stem cell or amnion and PRP. So he injects my knees for me to help regenerate. And that helps tremendously. It really does work. So I've had to fight through that. I have a herniated disc in my neck, so there's certain things I can lift all day long. I can't bounce. That's why I had to stop riding horses because it would really send a lot of pain.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
lifting actually helped it a lot.
But can
Um,
you still squat?
yes, I can.
So.
Sometimes I have to squat with my knees out in front of me like a cable squat.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to educate women that don't give up on yourself just because you have an injury or arthritis. Don't give up on yourself. There are ways to train around injuries, and I've learned how to do that, no doubt.
And you still planning to compete at least once a year? Is that the plan?
I would love to. I was planning on taking a year off. Then COVID hit, and I'm like, well, I'm not getting on a freaking stage with a mask on my mouth. That's a hard no.
Right.
No, nobody want to do that shit, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, so I kind of gave up on that idea of competing until COVID kind of, and now it's like coming back in again. So I'm hoping when I turn 50, perhaps next year, I can do, I jokingly say I'll find myself an old mare class to enter. But yeah, I'd like to next year go to a master show or something.
So when was your last competition? Was 2019?
Yes, I think it was 19. December 2019, it was Sheila's show, the Texas one. I forget the name of it. Battle of
Yes,
Texas.
because I remember that show, and you were among way younger ladies, and you stand tall, toe to toe with all of them.
Oh, thanks. It was fun. It was a good show. I think I got six in the master's class, but I was happy with that, because oh man, I had just done a show 4 months prior, and I should have just quit with that because you know how when you try to extend your prep, your body's like, stop
Yeah, you're done.
it. I was at that point, my body was like, stop it. You need to feed me now more. So
That
that was hard.
that brings
Yeah.
another question about this whole thing about listening to your body. I'm pretty sure that you do that all the time, and you educate your clients to do that as well. What is the main trigger point for you? You say, I have to listen to what my body is saying now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you get too low on calories, there's, messes can mess up your hormones, as you know. And hormones, as it is, are a donkey on the edge in your 40s. So, yeah, it can jack with that, and hair loss, things like that. So, if I notice things like that, then I have to be really careful. So, yeah,
But
you just have to watch.
one thing that amazes me about you is the you are always uplifting. It was always like that, or you became more like that after this transformation?
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you. No, I've always been wired happy. I was one of those annoying kids running around, that was just happy all the time. That's just how I'm programmed. I've always been that way, kind of a positive. I don't know. I don't, and this is going to sound weird, but I'm not moody. I'm real even keeled and just happy. And that's just me. I don't know where that comes from. My mom was that way. My dad certainly wasn't. We won't go there. Um, he was moody as hell. But I've always been even keeled, and so is my brother. So my mom she was really big in the Arabian horse world, and she would always help people, and she instilled in me at an early age to help people, especially those that are just coming up and trying to figure things out. So for me, it's soul food, and if I'm being perfectly honest, all in the last year, I got on TikTok and started trying to help women get fit, and then I started translating it to my Instagram, and it just was like, oh my gosh, the response has been incredible. I mean, the women came out of the woodwork for help
Yeah.
and just post, and I enjoy it. It's soul food for me. And Yuri, I'll be honest, I don't want to be the one, if I'm lucky enough to go to heaven, I don't want to be the one standing before God when He asks me, what did you do with your life?
Yeah.
What did you do to help other people? I don't want to be standing there with a dumb look on my face and not have an answer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think last year, mainly during the lockdowns, that we couldn't go to the gym and everything, people that help others just by talking to them was very important. And yeah, I know that you did that because I follow you and I saw that you were doing that. So COVID hit really hard last year. How did you dealt with gyms? I'm pretty sure you have your own gym, but how did you dealt with this change last year?
Yeah, it sucked for all of us, didn't it? I mean, trying to work out. We were fine on upper body days, but leg day was hard. I definitely lost some muscle because we didn't have access to a leg press.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I definitely lost some muscle. So we just did the best we could. Randy and I would work out together. I'd bring, a friend of mine, my workout partner, Jackie, she'd come over and we'd play in my gym. And, we just make the best out of it. Life is what you make
Yeah.
it. That's what my mom always taught me. Life is what you make it. So you just do the best you can. And I was trying to post, home workouts for other women and things like that as much as I could too.
Did you
And I still do
did
that.
you do a lot of bands workout? Because one thing that I noticed is a lot of people doing bands, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. And bands are great, So yeah, I did incorporate some bands. We've got free weights here. I'm lucky I have an FT2 trainer, which is an Inspire. So it's like one that slides up and down and it's
Hmm.
got a Smith machine to it. So I could actually do real squats. So that was helpful. But I still lost some muscle along the way. But that's okay. I've got it back now. It's just a question of, okay, can I make it to 50 and make it to a show? I'm going to try. Pray for me. Just kidding.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna do very well. Now, we were talking about recovery. Do you have any specific thing that you do for recovery, cryo, or any other thing?
You bet. So, in Dallas, there's a place called Phoenix Theralays, and I go there
Hmm.
once or twice a week. It is a hot laser. Well, it's a hot laser, but it's called a cold laser. And so it's a stage 4 cold laser, and I use it on my legs, my knees, just my joints. It heals you up like 4 times faster. It's amazing. I discovered it. Larry North actually told me about it, and I went and tried it, and he was right. It was amazing. To give you an example, I had an injury on my arm for like a year, and I couldn't get it to heal, obviously, because when you're lifting, it's hard to get, anything to heal up. And about 4 sessions on that thing, and it never came back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's kind of a real cool thing. So I do that. Also, the red light therapy bed is amazing. Cryo, I hate being cold, but it does help.
So the red light therapy is on the same place.
The red light therapy bed is at iCryo in Frisco, so I go there for that, and they have good cryo there as well. But the Phoenix Theralace is off Walnut Hill and Walnut Hill Lane and 75 in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you are big on natural fruit, food and everything, organic, and I've seen some of your TikToks that are quite funny to watch.
Thanks.
Educational but funny at the same time, and you do that on purpose, so it's great. Um, what is your calorie intake nowadays? I mean, is in calories, and do you count the macros and everything?
Oh, you bet. And I have a coach, obviously. So yeah, they're kind of up and down, but for the most part, I'm around 2,000 for most days right now because, I'm trying not to gain too much fat, but it does work for me as, putting a little bit of muscle on and not gaining a whole lot of fat. If I need to lean down for something, I can take it down a little bit and then come back up. So I just don't want to put on, a ton of fat, and being in perimenopause, you've got to be really careful because I know what's coming if I'm not careful. That whole belly fat thing, that's a hard no. I don't want that.
Talking about that, do you do a lot of cardio?
Not really. So I do 20 minutes about 5 times a week. I do treadmill. So I put the incline on 8 and the speed on 3. So write that down. It's a good cardio.
Because
Yeah,
that's
that's
another very important notice. A lot of people they do so much cardio, thinking that that's the solution to lose weight, and sometimes it's not. Many times it's not.
no. You know what's more important? Well, lifting, but getting your 10,000 steps in a day because you burn more just walking around doing everyday activities throughout the day. Just stay active. But it's 80% diet. You cannot outrun that fork.
Right.
Believe me, I've tried. It doesn't work.
That's true.
So yeah, it's important to keep that, in mind. And I am huge on natural foods, chicken, fish, bison, things like that, veggies, of course, eating your carbs, sweet potatoes, Japanese yams. And I talk about sweet potatoes a lot because they're anti-inflammatory and they're also helpful for hot flashes. So I eat them twice a day and they actually really do help. And I'll give you an example. When we go out to dinner and I eat like an asshole, and like get bloated, oh,
Hmm.
my hot flashes come back immediately because of the inflammation from the bad food. So as soon as I get back on plan, they go away. So good food is magical. It really is.
What about alcohol? Do you avoid completely, or just once in a while? It's fine.
So I used to be a big drinker before I started lifting. I would drink. I would say big drinker, not an alcoholic. I would probably drink 3 times a week red wine. Loved it. Right. Not having any idea how much it actually slows your metabolism over time. It's empty carbs and calories. It slows your liver processing down. So when you work out and then go drink, when you eat, it doesn't get processed. Your protein synthesis does not get processed properly. I didn't know all that, but when I started lifting, I found all this out. So I don't drink much at all. It's like once a month at most because when I do, it just makes me feel like crap. I mean, it just
Just one glass of wine is enough.
That's plenty, really is. I can literally feel my kidneys going, "Excuse me, what are we doing?" And my liver's doing, "Talk to her." What's going on? What are we doing? Stop it. Are you trying to kill us? Seriously. So, yeah. And the older you get, the harder it is for us to process these things because, we don't move around as much as we get older. So our metabolism starts to slow down. We start to lose muscle and our digestion starts to slow down along with our liver. So that just compounds the problem.
Yeah, it's way more challenging for sure. I'm 46, and I noticed that when I was prepping when I was 40, it was way easier than it is 5 years later. Every year gets a little bit more difficult.
Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. And I haven't prepped since 19. So I'm hoping it'll be a little easier, but I don't know what I'm in for. We'll see. But giving my body that long time off, which has been weird for me because I'm in a weird place. Like ever since I started lifting, I would do, I would lift and have an off season, and then I would go to compete. Well, when COVID hit, God, I haven't competed since 19.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going, what am I doing? Where am I at? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because you were very active, right? You're doing at least 2 shows a year, at least.
Absolutely. So yeah, I miss it. I miss being on the stage. But it's okay. I mean, I'll get back there eventually. It's just I finally found my way on where my body likes to be, and hormonally, and keeping everything balanced. How much food I need, because us women, we are a mess of tripwires, and they start blowing as we start getting older. So yeah.
Now, talking about overcoming, you got your pro card, what, 3 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago?
2017. So it's been a minute.
When
Yeah.
you started this whole journey, were you already looking to this uh, pro card, or it was something that every year you were like, well, not this is possible. I'm going after this, or you had a goal to really get this card?
That's a great question because when I first started, I was like so enamored by the pros. I was like, oh my God, that's a pro. I want to go talk to her. And I remember I had a really nice pro at my first show come up to my husband and I and say, stick with it. You've got something. And that meant the world to me that so a pro would say that to me. And she wasn't even bikini. She was figure or something, but it was nice of her to do that. Something, a nice gesture like that can really stay with you. So at first I was like, I just want to do this for fun. I don't know where it's going to lead. And then I started seeing results, and people were like, you really should go for your pro card. I'm like, okay, you think I can get it? I thought I had no chance in hell of getting it. I'll be truthful. I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. And the, the day of the show, I kept seeing this number 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, and my number was 10, 11.
Oh wow,
And
really?
I got this,
Wow.
yes, and I got this weird feeling over me. I'm not psychic, but I get feelings, and I was like, something's changing in my life. I can feel it. I can feel it. And this was before I went on stage, and I told my husband that. He can probably verify, but I told him that. I'm like, something's going on. Something's changing. I think there's a reason for everything in life, and I do think there's a reason. Um, a chapters that we go through in our own lives, and this was a start of a new chapter for me. And I ended up getting my pro card, cried like a little girl for 3 days probably. Was so
I can only
excited that I
imagine
finally,
how it was when you felt that on stage.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny because they forgot to announce it for me, and so they actually pulled me back up on stage, um, and gave me the trophy and was like, new IFBB Pro, and there's a picture of me just bawling. Anyway, I know I need to share that picture again because it was kind of cute. But anyway, so yeah, I just cried for days,
Which,
and I
which which
really think
show
that
which
that
show was that, Claire?
Masters Nationals, yeah, in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
That was where I got it, and it was in 17. So it was one of those things that's not supposed to happen, happened. And I was just like, oh my God, what happened? It was a whirlwind.
Well, but
Um,
you're really humble because you work hard for that. So were basically harvesting the results of your hard work. So you deserve.
I appreciate it, but we all do. And when looking down the lineup of those girls, every single one of them looked amazing. Of course, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, crap. And you try not to like get too nervous, by looking at all these girls, but they all look phenomenal, and they always do. We all work super hard. There's no doubt. I was just excited to be up there with them, truthfully, but I just think it led me on a path of that change I talked about. I
Hmm.
feel like it led me to down the path of helping others because that's always where I've wanted to go, but never really had a good pathway for it until now.
Yeah, that's great because you actually became a ambassador of the sport and helping others. So you are utilizing this title for something good, not only just for you.
Yeah, I do would like to represent the IFBB in a good way. Of course, it's an amazing organization, and it's an honor to be a part of it. There's no doubt about it. Um, But yeah, like I said, it's soul food for me. I just love helping beginners that don't know what to do, giving them advice and some of the posts that I post. And it makes my day when I get a message from a woman saying, "Hey, Claire, thank you for posting this. I needed to hear this today. I've lost 10 pounds. I got my hormones checked because of you, and they were off, and now I'm losing weight." I mean, just those little
Yeah.
things. It's such a small thing, but it makes a difference in somebody else's
Mm.
life. And that's what means something to me.
But you do have your own clients, right?
I do. I do help beginners. I don't promote it a lot because I like to keep my group
Hmm.
small. But I do help beginners. I don't do contest prep, nothing like that, because we're a needy bunch. Just no.
So you like to help regular people.
Yes, just normal people that are new to this, just starting out. That's what I like to help for sure.
And but
So educate.
there is a rationale behind this target audience. Why you like this target audience in particular?
I think it's because I've been there too. Googling, trying to figure out how do you build muscle, how do you lose fat, what's the best thing to eat, keto, whole foods, all this crap. And I love getting on TikTok and like blowing those myths out of the water and just being like, you can't spot reduce fat. You don't have to do a bunch of ab exercises to see your abs. It's 80% diet, things like that. Because over the years, we've been saturated with all these infomercials, abs of steel, and do these ab exercises and you'll see your abs in like a week. You're like, no, that's not how it works. you know so I love trying to help women understand that that's a myth. This is how it's done, and I always tell them, I will not ever lie to you, and I will not ever tell you something to do something that won't work.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. And you invest a lot of your time just on sharing information because most of your videos is basically educational. So it's a really good investment. You don't really post a lot about, as you said, about your service as a coach. And I think I found out because I saw someone talking about, but you don't really advertise this.
No, I really don't. I like to help people for free online as much as I can on social media because, we all need a chance to be healthy. Some people can't afford it. Some people just like to learn, and not and try to do it on their own so they can say that they accomplished it on their own just from learning different things. I just enjoy it. It's just soul food for me. Like I said, I don't want to be the one standing there going, "Oh, I don't know what he did," to help people.
Yeah. Now, you said that you are always extremely happy and you're uplifting and everything. Now, the tricky question here, because I know I've been through this, during those last 3 weeks of prep, are you still with this whole energy that you have, or you slow down a little bit?
Yeah, Randy, you want to answer that? My, no, seriously, my last 3 weeks of prep, he can tell you. Um, I really don't. Maybe like going through the hustle and bustle of the show, I might, but I don't. But I just don't get flustered very easily.
Really?
So you want to answer that? What am I like the last 3 weeks of a show right before?
Yeah, I've heard the stories about all the contest people, how bad they are, but Claire was not that way.
Really?
She,
Even on like
she
peak
was,
week, she's still laughing and telling jokes and everything.
yeah, she is. She really is, and we actually get along great anyway. So we never have an arguing situation. So it's never been bad. She's really easy to do, and she does great at it. So
That's
I can't wait for the next show.
wow, lucky man. That's really
Now
rare.
we'll see some errands. I'm on a wild goose chase looking for this or that, but. So I think everybody that competes needs somebody to kind of help them get
Yeah.
there. But she does great.
And by the way, hubby is come into the picture. Hubby is 68. He started listening at age 60. So if we
Y-
can do this, you
Yeah,
can too.
look amazing, Randy. Look amazing.
He does.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of him. I really am.
The thing that we were surprised is how many friends we could meet along the way because in the fitness world or in the gym, everybody's there for the same
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
And so it's been a great journey from that
It's a great
standpoint.
community for sure. Uh,
Yeah, it's so true. But he's right. We don't fight, and people find that so strange. But like I said, I'm real even keeled. So is he. And I've been with moody men. Oh, it doesn't end well. I'm like, oh, I'll be in the corner. You tell me when your tantrum is over, and I'll be over here. No, this one, thank baby Jesus. He is so even keeled, and he's what we call you know, when you meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, this person is an old soul.
Yeah.
That's him. He is an old soul, wise as can be. And damn it, if he's not right every freaking time, no matter what the situation is, he's always right. So I never question him anymore. He's got amazing intuition. He's an incredible person. Um, Amazing family man, and he's right. We just don't fight because we have nothing to fight about. We're peaceful people. You know, we know that words hurt. You can't take them back. Never give your woman ammunition because that never ends well, right, ladies? It doesn't end well.
For how long you guys are together?
Oh gosh, we've been married 20, no, eight, coming up on 18 years in February is how long we've been married. Now we've been together for 20 years, 21 years.
No,
So
that's
yeah.
awesome. I've been together
Oh,
for 22, coming up for 23 now. Yeah.
oh wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Very cool. So yeah, I mean, you guys must get along well
Yep.
too because it doesn't end
Yeah.
well.
Now on your from the preps that you've been through, there is anyone in particular that you struggle most with, or everything was pretty similar? It was the first one that was the most difficult one, or it was the one leading to the pro card?
Um, they were all about the same. I think when my arthritis started to hurt on my knees, I had to swim for cardio. That was a bear. Getting up in the morning and jumping in a pool that's not always warm and doing your cardio, but I freaking did it every day for like 40 minutes. I would get in that pool and just go in circles. I'd run underwater. I'd do all kinds of crazy stuff just to get, because basically all cardio is getting heart rate
Mm-hmm.
up, right? So I'd be in there just tooling away on that freaking treading water and doing whatever. But that helped. Yeah, just the arthritis. My knees do not like cardio. So, and not only that, doing too much cardio took my muscle. So I have to be very careful. I have one of those really sensitive bodies that if I do too much of anything, it'll go the direction you don't want it to go. Hair loss, muscle loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's good because you know your body pretty well and you know what you need to avoid. A lot of people do not have this level of awareness with their own body, so they just keep trying everything and they don't see results.
Yeah, exactly right. And water pills too affect me so badly. Like when I take water pills before the show, they will really make my glutes drop instead of defining. I'll lose my muscle pop. And by the time I eat enough carbs to fill back out, I'm bloated. So I have to be really careful with that dialing in process. It's annoying.
Yeah, yeah. Do you drop a lot of your carbs or you keep your carbs relatively the same?
No, I think the lowest my carbs ever got was like 85 a day. That was the lowest. And so I was eating, a little bit of oatmeal. I think I was eating carbs 3 times a day. So I would have like a little bit of oatmeal, then carbs in meal two, then carbs in meal three, and then none other than veggies the rest of the day, from what I recall. But I always get carbs. I never had to give them up completely. I don't know why. I don't think I have a fast metabolism or anything like that. Um, but I do process food fairly well,
Do
generally.
you do any type of body composition test just to see your body fat percentage in the beginning of the prep and at the end?
Yes, I've done InBody, I've done DEXA. I think right now I'm probably sitting around, according to the InBody, 21%. So on the DEXA, it's actually a bit lower than that.
Hmm.
So my coach told me recently she thinks I'm 10 pounds from stage. So, I don't know if that's true. Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. Um, because I've got more muscle than I had before. So it's always hard to tell. And then when you start your prep, you're just praying Jesus that you don't lose muscle. And then it goes, you never know where you're going to land. So, um, yeah, I would say that for the most part, most preps weren't that bad. I put my head down and I do what I got to do.
Right.
So when ladies come at me with excuses, I'm like, girlfriend, you don't know. I'm like, come on, just knuckle down and do it. It's fine.
And the other thing that is important, because I see that you are very active on your social life, a lot of people that start diet, they isolate themselves and they don't have social life anymore. What is your advice on that?
Yeah, you don't have to. Literally, when we go to like a family function and they're used to it, I'll just take my food with me. I don't drink much anyway, so that doesn't matter. They all know. Don't even offer Claire a drink. No. I'll take my water or whatever, and there's things that you can have, like devotion, nutrition. Like I love devotion protein powder, so I can make ice cream treat with that. And it's 100 calories, so you can have that on prep, and that kind of gets you through when you have sweet cravings and things like that. So yeah, no, it's the prep is never. I'm not one that gets real cranky or doesn't bother me that much. Like I said, I put my head down and I do
Yeah.
it. Social life, but yeah. So we still do, but we don't generally. If I'm on prep, I generally don't go out to dinner unless I have to,
Hmm.
because yeah, it's tempting for me. Like I'll look at bread and go, oh, I want
Yeah.
that. Don't eat it.
I've seen some of your pictures of with some big ice cream that you were giving yourself on the cheating meal, so I understand the feeling.
Oh yeah, and it feels good, but it's funny because your stomach shrinks so much by the time you get to eating something like
Yeah.
that you get so freaking bloated. And I've had a lot of women say that I just get so bloated. I'm like, okay, I've discovered good digestive enzymes; those help tremendously. They're a lifesaver, but yeah, it's not fun because then you're like, this food isn't as fun as I thought it was gonna
Right.
be.
Right. Then there
It never
comes
is.
that guilt feeling. It's just terrible. It's just terrible.
Yes. Yeah, you got that food baby going on, and you're like, oh my God. You feel horrible. I know, I hate that feeling. And that's why I keep my diet so clean, because I want my clothes to fit. I want to look halfway decent. I want to feel good about myself. I don't ever want to look in the mirror again and not like what I'm seeing, in the sense that it's such a mental thing for women and men too, I'm sure. But we want our clothes to fit. We want to feel like we look decent. You know what I mean? It's such a confidence thing for
It is,
women.
but the fact that you started this whole thing after the age of 40, what do you think it happens like when you were 30, 35, that you didn't have this mindset? I mean, because clearly you didn't have the same mindset that you have today when you were on your 30, 35, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest. So I trained horses for years. I came flying off of a Frisian and got kicked in the leg really hard. And I came up with a huge scar on my outside of my leg that came up in a hematoma. Can't see it here really, but yeah, you see that lump?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hematoma that didn't heal very well. So I was really conscious about it for years. And I'm like, what's the point of having a good body when you have a messed up leg? And so I had that attitude. I was just like, whatever. I never got too fluffy, but then I did get a little fluffy, and I'm like, okay, I got to do something. And then I'm like, who cares? I honestly, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to compete because I have muscle damage in there, in my leg, from the kick. I mean, it was bad. So yeah, I wasn't sure, but when I ended up leaning down, you could barely see it. It was interesting how it
And
how
al-
it
and al-
does that.
and also, I think that you are very good in hiding that when you're posing, because I think you have so much self awareness that when you pose, because posing is an art. If you
Yeah,
can actually hide your weaknesses and highlight your strengths when you are posing. If I
yeah,
mean,
it's true. I used to put my hand.
Teaches that a lot.
He does. He's good with posing. When I would turn to the back, I would put my hand over it. Now I don't care because it doesn't bother me anymore. It's a scar. It is what it is. It's not a lump of cellulite. It's not a lump of fat. It's just a little indentation in my leg. But by the time I lean down, it just looks like a little indentation. But when I'm off season, of course, there's fat around it, so it looks a little more weird. So I look like I've got a little lump on my leg, so it's kind of weird. But we've all got something. Believe me, my perfect label got ripped off a long time ago.
That is interesting because I think that your mindset is way more stronger today. Today, you wouldn't allow yourself to give you that excuse that you gave in the past, saying, "Well, I have this problem here. I'm not going to do because I have this problem." Right? Nowadays, you have a way stronger mindset that you not allow excuse to get on your way.
Exactly right. So yeah, if you've got a scar, if you've got stretch marks, anything like that, don't be self-conscious about it because we've all got something. So yeah, take it from me. I got my pro card with this nasty thing on my leg. So, you know, it is what it is. There's nothing I can really do about it. They couldn't even, I even went to a surgeon, said, can you do anything with this? And they're like, no, not really. I'm like, okay. So, is what it is. You're right. So now I'm just like, whatever. I don't even care anymore. And I think as you get older, you mellow out and you're like, it's life.
Yeah, I had some problems because when I lost 100 pounds, I got a lot of losing skin, and I didn't want to do tummy talk or anything. So in the beginning, it was a struggle because even when you are very lean and you have all the muscles, you still have the losing skin, and losing skin is so difficult to get rid of it. It's hard.
Yes, you're right about that, especially on the stomach. I get women that ask me that all the time. And it just depends on your genetics, how it shrinks up. And your journey is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Also, that's so cool. You should be so proud of yourself, for
Thank
sure.
you.
When I leaned down, I definitely had some loose skin on the back of my arms. And I freaking hated it. Hated it. I'm like, okay, well, this was before I started lifting. I'm like, well, now what do I do about this?
Right.
How do we fix this mess? I hated being skinny fat. And so I just, I started learning how to lift, and now it's filled out with muscle. So you really, you don't see the loose skin anymore, because it literally, ladies, if you think of, like, if you have loose skin, think of your skin as like a deflated balloon, huh? And when you lose the fat, it deflates. Now you can fill it back out with muscle, and now you have shape to your body. So don't be afraid to lift. Pick up those weights. It will help. It speeds up your metabolism. It fills out your body, so you'll have a nice shape, and it also burns the most calories.
Do you encourage some of the people that approach you about losing skin, for example, to get tummy tuck or surgery, or you consider this like the last resource?
If that's what they want to do, I encourage you to do anything that you want to do for yourself. I wanted these. I went and got them. I'm happy I did. Best surgery ever. If you need a surgeon, let me know. He's amazing. Anyway, so yeah, if there's something that you want to do for yourself, freaking do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you should or shouldn't do this or do that or whatever. If there's something you want to do for yourself, go do it. Don't let anybody stop you.
Yeah, that's a great advice for sure. Now, for us to wrap up here, what would you say for that over 40, woman or even man that wants to get in shape but think that the time is over because it's over 40, right? There's a lot of people that still think that way. I'm over 40. I'm not gonna get in shape, and I know that you are a living proof of that. But what would you tell these people?
Yeah, you're right. And this is going to sound cliche, but it's never too late. I mean, I started at age 42, never picked up a weight before then. My husband started at age 60, and he's now 68 and looks incredible. So you can take your health back. You can look in the mirror and be happy about what you see. You can fit into that bikini again, or those swim trunks that you've got stuffed in a drawer somewhere with the word someday sitting on it. So don't be afraid to go after your goals. Absolutely. We've all got a little black dress in the back of the closet that says someday on it. And believe me, you can get there. Don't give up on yourself.
Amazing. Amazing advice, Claire. Thank you very much for taking the time on this Friday night to record this. I'm looking forward to see you again on stage. Hopefully next year. And keep up the great work.
Thank you, hon. And thank you for having me so much. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining another episode of Overcome Podcast, and see you again next